Hello everyone, welcome to the part 5 of this video series under logarithm. If you missed the previous part of this video, kindly check the description of this video. You'll find the link to those videos. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. So in this video, we are going to be looking at the following examples. So example 1 says, so starting with example 1, in this example, we are going to be solving for x. So in this example, we are going to be looking for the value of x. So number 1 says 2 log x plus 3 log 5 is equals to 2. So they are both in base 10. So if you are to apply the laws of indices, that law of logarithm rather, that we've looked at in the previous part of this video, so the solution goes thus. So we have log x raised to power 2, this 2 becomes a power to base 10, plus log 5 raised to power 3 to base 10 is equals to, now this they are both on base 10, this is on base 10, so we are also going to convert this out to a number in base 10, and that will give us log 100 to base 10. So the value of log 100 to base 10 will also give us 2. So we are still correct. So here we have log 10, log to base 10, open brackets, don't forget the law of indices. So right here we'll have x squared times 5 raised to power 3, because we are having log 10 here and log 10 here, is equals to log 100 to base 10. Now if you look at on this both side, we have log 10 and we also have log 10 here on both sides of the equation, so we can just cancel it out. So that we'll be left with x squared times 5 raised to power 3 is 125 times 125 is equals to 100. So that will give us 125x squared is equals to 100. So at this point, we are trying to make x the subject of the formula, because that's what we are solving for. If you look at the question, we are solving for x. We are solving for x. So from this point, we are going to divide both sides by 125. Divide both sides by 125. So that will be 125x squared over 125 is equals to 100 over 125. So 125 can cancel 125 here. So if you look at this, 25 can divide 100 and 25 can divide 125. So x squared is equals to 100 divided by 25, that's 4. 125 divided by 25, that's over 5. To get rid of this square, so we are going to find the square root of both sides. Find the square root of both sides. So we'll have something like this. X squared is equals to 4 over 5 and square roots. So this square root will cancel this square. So what will be left with is x is equals to, we can also write this as root 4 over root 5. If you remember when we looked at indices, so that will give us square root of 4 is 2, and then root 5, we can't start having a rational number, so we'll leave it as over root 5. Now we cannot leave our answer like this as our final answer, so we are going to rationalize this denominator. So what we mean is we'll multiply by root 5 over root 5. Now this root 5 over root 5 is the same thing as 1, but just so that we won't have this root 5 as the denominator, so that's why we have to multiply it by the value of the denominator. So that will be giving us 2 root 5 over, that's 2 times root 5, then root 5 times root 5 will give us 5. So this is our answer. So the answer is to this question number 1. So the value of our x is 2 root 5 over 5. So let's go to question number 2. So question number 2 says we are still going to be solving for x. It says 3 log x, this time around is in base 2, to base 2 plus 5 log x to base 2 minus 6 log x to base 2 is equals to log 64 to base 2. So this is just is a very simple example. So 3 log x base 2, we can write that as log x raised to power 3 to base 2 plus, so if this 5, if you bring it as a power, we'll have log x raised to power 5 to base 2 minus log x raised to power 6 to base 2 is equals to log 64 to base 2. So if you examine all this question closely, you see that they are all in base 2. So applying the law of logarithm, we can just have the log, since log to base 2 is common to everything. So we have the log to base 2, open bracket, we have x raised to power 3 plus log x raised to power 5. So this plus it will become multiplication, don't forget the law of logarithm, times x raised to power 5. So right there we're having minus. So this minus log x raised to power 6 to base 2, it will become division. So that will be over x raised to power 6 is equals to log 64 to base 2. So just like when we looked at example 1, where we are having, in example 1 it was log 10, log to base 10 we are having on both sides. But right now we are having log to base 2 on both sides. So we can easily cancel it out. So right here we'll be having x raised to power 3 times x raised to power 5 over x raised to power 6 is equals to 64. So if you have to simplify this further, this particular question, this particular side that I just brackets, we can apply the law of indices. So this is what I mean. We can also have it as x raised to power 3 times x raised to power 5 is same as x raised to power 8. Don't forget law of indices. We can add the power, is x raised to power 8. So since there's a division sign here, the same x raised to power 6. So this time around we are going to say minus 6. So if it's not clear, you can check our video on indices. You understand it better. So is equals to 64. So we'll be left with x raised to power 8 minus 6, which is x raised to power 2, is equals to 64. So to get rid of this square, we are going to find the square root of both sides. So we have x squared is equals to 64. So if you apply the square root will cancel this square. So the square root of 64 is equals to 8. So the answer to question number 2 is 8. So let's go to question number 3. So question number 3, so you can kindly pause the video and see if you can attempt question number 3 to see if you can solve it. And if you get the answer, do let me know in the comments below if you are able to solve it. Question number 3, we have log into bracket 2x squared plus 5x plus 97 is equals to 2. So if you look at this question, the log, there is no base. So in a situation like this, like I said in the previous part of the video, you assume it to be base 10. So we can rewrite this question as log 2x squared plus 5x plus 97 is equals to log 100. So log 100 to base 10 will give us 2. So it is still the same thing. So at this junction, we can just cancel out this log because they are on both sides of the equation. So now we'll be left with 2x squared plus 5x plus 97 is equals to 100. So let's simplify it for that. That will be 2x squared plus 5x plus 97. So since we have 100 here, we can bring it to the other side of the equation. So to become minus 100 equals to 0. So this will be 2x squared plus 5x minus, not plus, okay, to be 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equals to 0. What we have right here is what we call quadratic equation. So let's just solve it to get so that we can get the value of our x. So we are going to be applying factorization method to solve this quadratic equation. So using factorization method. So quadratic equation, there are about 4 methods of solving quadratic equation. So right here, we're going to be using factorization method. So what we are going to do when we are using factorization method, we have 2x squared and minus 3. Once we multiply 2x squared multiplied by minus 3, we'll have minus 6x squared. Now, because we are using factorization method, we are going to look for two values or two numbers, whereby when we multiply it, it will give us minus 6x squared. And when we add it together, we should have plus 5x. So the two numbers that will give us that value is, those two numbers is plus 6x and minus x. Look at it. So if you say 6x multiplied by minus x, that will give us minus 6x squared, which is this. Now if we decide to add 6x plus minus x, that will give us 5x, this 5x. So that is how to apply factorization method. So now that we've gotten those the value that when we multiply it will give us minus 6x squared, and when we add it, it will give us plus 5x. We are going to use that value to replace this 5x. So we are going to write it as 2x squared plus 6x minus x minus 3 is equals to 0. So can bracket this, factorize this. So 2x is, we can get 2x from this. So we have 2x into bracket x plus 3. So there's nothing similar here, so we can have it as minus 1 equals to bracket x plus 3 equals to 0. If we use this 2x to multiply this bracket, we'll have this. If we use minus 1 to multiply what we have in this bracket, we'll have minus x minus 3. So we'll have 2x minus 1. That's this 2x and minus 1. And then we have x plus 3 equals to 0. So let's bring that individually. We have 2x minus 1 is equals to 0, or x plus 3 is equals to 0. So right here we will have 2x is equals to 1, and we also have x is equals to minus 3. So right here we've gotten the value for x on this side. So if you make x the subject of the formula here, we are going to divide both sides by 2. So we'll have 2x is over 2 is equals to 1 over 2. So our x here is equals to 1 over 2. So that gives us the answer to question number 3. So the answer to question number 3 is our x is equals to 1 over 2, and our x is also equals to minus 3. So right here we have two value for x. So these are the solution to 3 questions for the part 5 of this video. I hope you've been able to learn a lot of things from this video under logarithm, and you could be able to solve different questions going forward under logarithm. So if you have any question, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.